students, welcome to the MOOC course on Controlled Drug Delivery System, which constitutes Unit 1 of the subject Novel Drug Delivery System BP 7040. Myself, Dr. Chitra Gupta, Associate Professor, Lloyd Institute of Management and Technology, Department of Pharmacy. So, students, to begin with, we should first understand what is meant by a controlled drug delivery system. Let us look at the definition of controlled drug delivery system. A controlled drug delivery system is defined as a formulation or a device that enables the introduction of a therapeutic substance or a therapeutically active agent in the body and improves its efficacy and safety by controlling the rate, time and place of release of drug in the body. Let us look at the definition more closely. The term controlled drug delivery system can be bifurcated into two parts: the drug delivery systems and the term controlled. The drug delivery systems are basically devices or formulations. They are basically devices or formulations, and these devices or formulations contain what is known as the API or the active pharmaceutical ingredient or the drug in them. Now, these drug delivery devices or formulations, they exhibit a control on drug release. That is why we call them as controlled drug delivery system. Now, this control in drug release is exhibited in terms of rate of drug release, the time of drug release, and the place, time and the place. So that when they control the rate of drug release, then they will be called as modulated drug delivery system. When they exhibit a control on time of drug release, they will be called as extended drug delivery system. When they control the place of drug release or site of drug release, this will lead us to what are called as targeted drug delivery system. The performance of these systems depends upon three parameters, or the process includes three steps. Firstly, the administration of the drug product, of the therapeutic drug product, that is, the device is introduced into the body or the formulation is administered to the person. The second step involved is the release of active ingredient by the product. The third step is the transport of this active agent to the site of action. So, all these three steps occur sequentially and directly relate to the performance of the drug product inside the body. Several terms have been used synonymously or parallelly with the controlled drug delivery systems. I will be discussing here these terms in details so that we can differentiate between these terms. The first term is prolonged release or extended release dosage forms, what are also called as sustained release preparations. Here, these preparations have no control on rate or site of drug release. The control they exhibit is in terms of time of drug release, such that they can release the drug over an extended period of time. Hence, they will be called as prolonged or extended release dosage forms. Thus, they offer to reduce the frequency of drug administration and are able to maintain constant plasma levels of the drug in the body. As a result, they can exhibit therapeutic effects for a prolonged period of time. The second term is the rate controlled drug delivery systems. As inherent in the terminology itself, these are the systems which deliver the drug at a predetermined rate, either systemically or locally for specific period of time. So, basically it is in these systems that the rate of drug release is controlled. They will release the drug at definite rate and time and at a particular time. The third ones are the modulated release preparations. This implies that the drug release is happening at a variable rate and is being controlled by the environmental conditions. These preparations are also called as the smart delivery products because they have an inherent mechanism in them whereby they can sense the changes in the environment and hence control the release of drug from the preparations. That is, they can release the required amount of drug from the dosage form at required time periods. So that these modulated release preparations basically imply the release of drug at a variable rate which is controlled by the environmental conditions like biofeedbacks and sensor inputs or external control devices. Another commonly used term for these preparations is the repeat action preparations. The term itself implies that there is repetition of drug release. This is accomplished because these dosage forms have got 2 to 3 doses of the single dose in a conventional drug delivery system incorporated into them, and they release these doses sequentially. First or the single dose is released immediately after the drug administration. This is followed by subsequent doses being released at regular time intervals. But these type of systems, the repeat action systems, they suffer from the same drawback as seen with conventional drug delivery systems, that there are fluctuations in the plasma drug blood levels between maximas and minimas. Going on to the next term, that is the delayed release preparations. The delayed release preparations are those preparations where the drug release occurs after a lag period. These are exemplified by enteric coated tablets or formaldehyde treated capsules. Here, after the drug administration, the drug is not released immediately, but it is released after a lag period or a gap period. Like in case of enteric coated preparations, the preparation is coated with an acid resistant coating, so that the preparation bypasses the stomach and there is no drug release in the stomach region at acidic pH. The drug release starts only when the dosage form reaches the intestines. Thus, there is a lag period in drug release, and these preparations are rightly called as the delayed release preparations in that case. So, our controlled drug delivery preparations basically release the drug at controlled rate at target site. Hence, they are able to accomplish sustained drug action at the target site and lead to localized drug action. Different scientists have used different terms for these controlled drug delivery systems. Let us look at these synonyms. Scientists Sheen and Robinson have called them as smart delivery systems, whereas Goldberg has coined the term targeted drug delivery systems. Scientists Vozog and Spacer have called them as intelligent drug delivery systems, whereas Sheen coined the term novel drug delivery system. Hellman has referred to them as therapeutic or rate controlled release systems. before we go on to the formulation or depth study of these controlled drug delivery preparations, let us explore the rationale for designing such products or need for designing these controlled drug delivery preparations. To understand this, we should understand the plasma level time curve of the drugs. So, if we plot a plasma concentration versus time graph of a drug for a single conventional dose, the graph looks something like this. Where this is the time of drug administration. So, once the drug is administered and it slowly gets absorbed into the plasma concentration rises gradually, attains a peak, and then due to elimination processes, the plasma concentration starts declining. Two different drug blood levels are defined in this plasma concentration versus time profile: the minimum effective concentration and the maximum safe concentration. The minimum effective concentration is the minimal plasma level of the drug required to show its therapeutic effects. That is, if the drug plasma levels are below the minimum effective concentration, that will lead to subtherapeutic levels of the drug in plasma and hence the failure of drug therapy. Therefore, in case of a conventional drug delivery system, we need to administer regular dosing of the drug at subsequent time intervals in order to maintain the plasma concentration within the therapeutic range, that is between the minimum effective concentration and the maximum safe levels. So, for maintaining this plasma drug blood level in the therapeutic range of the drug product, this requires repeated dosing of the drug for required duration of the time, right. So, for the duration of time period for which we want to sustain drug action or we want to have drug therapy, we need to give the drug at regular time intervals, and this results in fluctuating maximas and minimas. So, you can see here the crests and the troughs in the plasma drug blood level, right. So, there is fluctuation between maximas and minimas, and the drug needs to be administered at regular time intervals. That interval is called as the dosing interval of drug. As a result, in case of drugs with short biological half-lives, the frequency of drug administration will be more. So, this might lead to patient non-compliance and inconvenience. As a result, the desired therapeutic effects are not attained. All these shortcomings are overcome in a controlled drug delivery formulation, where we optimize the biopharmaceutics, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamic properties of the drug in a manner so that we can accomplish a constant plasma level of the drug in the plasma, which lies within the therapeutic range. To understand the rationale of controlled drug delivery, let us look at the plasma concentration versus time profile. This is a graph between plasma concentration and time, and we can very well see two defined levels of drug in the plasma: the minimum effective concentration and the maximum safe concentration. The minimum effective concentration in the plasma is the plasma drug blood level which is required for a drug to show its therapeutic efficacy. That is, if the drug plasma concentration is below the minimum effective concentration, the drug will not show any pharmacological effects. So, it is necessary that the attained plasma levels are above the minimum effective concentration. The maximum safe levels show the safe plasma concentration of the drug. That is, if the drug blood levels exceed this mark, the drug will show toxic manifestations. So, in case of a conventional drug delivery, as can be seen with the help of this red line, this is a graph obtained after single dose administration of a conventional drug delivery. The plasma concentration gradually increases and then declines. Here, we administer a second dose of the drug and again the plasma concentration rises. So, in case of a conventional drug delivery, in order to maintain the plasma concentration within the therapeutic range, that is between the minimum effective concentration and maximum safe concentration, we have to continuously administer the drug at regular time intervals, and then the plasma levels would be maintained within the therapeutic range. However, in case of controlled drug delivery, initial plasma levels are attained with 1 or 2 doses of the drug, and subsequently the dosage form is so designed that it releases the drug at such a rate that a constant plasma level is maintained. So, the drug is maintained within its therapeutic range by a single dose administration of a controlled drug delivery system. So, in a controlled drug delivery system, basically we optimize the biopharmaceutical characteristics, the pharmacokinetic characteristics and pharmacokinetic characteristics of the drug in such a manner so as to attain a safe and effective therapeutic drug blood level for a desired time period at the intended site of action. The idea is basically to modulate the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics of the API so as to make drug action more a dosage form design property and not the inherent drug property. The rate limiting step in drug release resides in the drug delivery system and not in the physicochemical properties of the drug. This will be very clear from the next slide. So, here you can see how the drug in dosage form is released in the body, then it constitutes drug in solution, which is then absorbed and permeates through the biological membranes to reach the target site. Two steps involved are release of drug from the dosage form and permeation of drug at the site of absorption into the target site. So, these two are the rate limiting steps. In case of conventional drug delivery system, the drug is released all at once. Say you are taking a tablet or a capsule, as soon as the tablet disintegrates inside the body, all the drug will be released at once. Now, this drug will be absorbed or permeated through the membranes, and the rate at which this permeates through the membrane will be the rate limiting step in drug action. So, in case of conventional drug delivery system, we say the rate limiting step is the absorption or permeation through the membranes. Whereas, in case of controlled drug delivery systems, we design the system or fabricate the system in such a manner that the rate limiting step becomes the release of the drug from the dosage form. That is, these drug delivery systems release the drug at a slower rate and hence are able to control the drug action. With this, let us discuss some of the advantages of these systems. The controlled drug delivery systems help in controlling the rate and extent of drug release, and hence absorption can be modified to have a controlled action of the drug. Secondly, they lead to enhanced patient compliance and convenience. This is because frequent drug administration are not required as are mandated in case of conventional drug delivery system. With a single dose of controlled drug delivery system, the drug action can be attained for a longer duration of time and multiple dosing is not required. The third advantage of these systems is efficient utilization of the active agent. It has been found that the overall quantity of drug administered for therapy with a controlled drug delivery system is much less than the conventional drug delivery systems. Fourthly, there is improved safety margins of drug and avoidance of fluctuating maximas and minimas in plasma level. Since the drug is being released from these dosage forms at a controlled rate, the safety margin of the drug is enhanced. There is no possibility or minimized possibility of drug exceeding the maximum safe levels and going into the toxic range. Then there is avoidance of sawtooth kinetics, that is the fluctuations of drug in the plasma level, that is minimas and maximas are avoided because the drug is being released in a slow and controlled rate and a controlled fashion, and hence a constant plasma drug blood level is being maintained. So, this fluctuation in plasma levels is avoided. As a result, the body does not experience the metabolic shocks. Then there is elimination of systemic side effects which may be due to high plasma concentrations. Lastly, they can help in targeting of drug. Many of the controlled drug delivery systems are used for targeting the drug to the site of action so that no drug is delivered to the other tissues, hence eliminating the damage to the non-target tissues of the body. Going on to the disadvantages, just like there are two faces of a coin, these controlled drug delivery systems have certain disadvantages also. Firstly, prompt termination of therapy is not possible in case of significant adverse effects. If we compare it with a conventional drug delivery system, if some adverse effects are observed with a drug, the drug administration can be immediately stopped and there can be prompt termination of therapy. However, in case of controlled drug delivery systems, it is just like a bow shot from an arrow. Once the delivery system is administered, you cannot stop the release of the drug, hence termination of therapy is impossible or very difficult. Secondly, the physician has less flexibility in dose adjustment. Now, in case of conventional drug delivery system, a doctor may advise you to take half a tablet depending upon your need. But in case of controlled drug delivery systems, it is not possible to reduce the dose or vary the dose as per the patient needs. So, physicians have got less flexibility in dose adjustment. For example, if you are taking an anticotic tablet and you break it into two halves, the purpose of coating will be defeated. The dosage form will not be effective. Thirdly, these controlled drug delivery systems are designed on the basis of average biological half-life in normal populations. So, variations like diseased conditions are not accommodated while formulating these drug delivery systems. Another point of disadvantage is risk of dose dumping. Now, what is this dose dumping? As I told you that a controlled drug delivery formulation has got several doses incorporated into a single dose of controlled drug delivery. If at all there is some fault at the designing stage, it might lead to dose dumping, that is release of all the encompassed dose at once in the body. This in turn might have toxic manifestations. This will lead to excessively high plasma levels of the drug and lead to drug toxicity. Another point of disadvantage is that since in controlled drug delivery systems we are delaying the drug release and hence drug absorption, this may delay the onset of action of drugs. To achieve this, however, in most of the controlled drug delivery systems, we have the concept of a loading dose, and this loading dose helps in attaining the initial plasma drug blood levels, which are then maintained by slow release by the controlled drug delivery system. Then variable drug absorption in individuals and at different times. The variability in drug absorption occurs due to variations in individual physiology or pharmacokinetics of the drugs. So, there is variability in drug absorption in individuals and at different times. There is poor in vitro in vivo correlation. Thus, all drug candidates are not suitable for making controlled drug delivery systems. Coming to the next point, that is the challenges to controlled drug release. Now, in designing these systems, very typical polymers are involved, extremely complicated technology may be involved, and certainly the evaluation parameters are quite stringent. As a result, all these things add to the cost of the formulation. Hence, these drug products are comparatively costlier as compared to conventional drug delivery systems. Secondly, the fate of the controlled release system, if not biodegradable. The polymers being used in controlled drug delivery systems must be biodegradable, so that the polymer is eliminated from the body once the drug release is completed. However, many polymers are not biodegradable, so their fate inside the body has to be considered. Such polymers are required to be biocompatible also. Biocompatible means that they should be non-toxic and non-sensitizing to the tissues of the body. Another parameter or another challenge to design of such products is the fate of polymer additives. Polymer itself is a formulation containing plasticizers, stabilizers, antioxidants and fillers and many other ingredients. So, apart from the polymer, even these ingredients have to be biocompatible and biodegradable in order to make safe preparations. Lastly, to maintain the plasma concentration by releasing the drug at desired rate. Now, the main objective of these controlled drug delivery formulations is to maintain the plasma concentration in therapeutically effective range. If you remember that graph between plasma concentration and time, plasma concentration and time graph, we had minimum effective concentration and maximum safe levels or maximum safe concentration, and we said that the drug release in case of controlled drug delivery should be such that the minimum effective concentration levels are exceeded and the drug blood levels are maintained in therapeutically effective range, below the maximum safe concentration and above the minimum effective concentrations. So, this is again a challenge to control the drug release or to attain the drug release at a desired rate, so that the desired plasma levels are maintained. So, friends, in this lecture we have discussed several aspects, the concepts of controlled drug delivery, where we have tried to differentiate between a controlled drug delivery system and a conventional drug delivery system. We said a controlled drug delivery system is that delivery system which is able to control the rate of release of the drug from the dosage form, and this is accomplished by designing such dosage forms which will release the drug at a slow rate and maintain the therapeutically effective concentration of the drug in the plasma. Thus, thereby they will eliminate the frequency of drug administration and the need for multiple dosing. Hence, they will lead to better patient compliance, and as a result they will lead to safe drug usage as well. Besides, we said that these controlled drug delivery systems, they make use of comparatively lesser amount of the therapeutic agents as compared to the amount of therapeutic agent being used in conventional drug delivery systems. So, when we compare the overall amount of drug utilized for drug therapy is much lesser in case of controlled release systems as compared to the conventional drug delivery systems. So, I think that is all. Thank you. Thank you for patient listening.